Ew! Allergies are a motherfucker. If you worry about this pimple, that's your problem. Hey beauties, it is your favorite inconsistent queen who is trying her best to be consistent. Don't yell at me. Last week was a very hectic, okay? I am trying to balance my life with gym, work, being a girlfriend, being a daughter, being everything. Okay? It's hard. I did do a poll on Instagram. If you do not follow me on Instagram, follow me. Okay? And I asked you guys what you wanted to see next, because the next video I had in my mind is to teach you guys about foundation, but obviously through the poll you guys got foundation down packed, right? Right, I hope so. If you don't, let me know in the comments. I still will do a video about it. Everybody said they wanted to learn highlight and contouring, okay? Which technically I don't really contour like that because I'm a bronze girly, but you guys said you wanted to learn how to highlight, contour / bronze. So that's what today's video is about. Okay? Don't shoot me. The polls told me to do it. I'm going to go ahead and do my eyes off camera because this has nothing to do with my eyes. I'm also going to put my base on, which is my foundation, because this video has nothing to do with my base. And then we're going to get into highlighting and contouring. Cool? Cool. And my foundation's on, my base is on, and I have my concealer under my eyes. If you guys want to know how I did that part of my foundation routine, you can always look back at my 2025 foundation routine and you get the information there. I am going to be doing my highlight and contour according to my face shape. Now I want to let you guys know that there are different face shapes. There's square, there's triangle, there's round, there's oval, there's heart, and diamond. Some people, diamond and triangle is in the same group. Me personally, because of how my face is shaped, how my chin hits, I'm usually within the diamond face shape. So I do my contouring kind of for that. Usually depending on your face shape, your contour will go higher, your highlight will come in more so that it does not elongate your face. So with me personally, because of the way my face is, I don't like my chin to look any longer than it is, even though I don't have much space down here. So I do not highlight this area. I literally keep my highlight in this area of my face, and so that I can snatch it upwards, because I like my eyes to look cat-like. If you guys haven't noticed that within the years of me doing my makeup, I'm going to show you guys two different ways on both sides of my face. One side, I'm going to actually place the product and then blend it, and on the other side, I'm going to blend it the way that I usually blend it so that you guys can understand where I'm coming from. I'm going to use a palette today. Usually I use the back of my hand, but today I'm going to be using a palette to make it a little bit easier on me. On this right here, that is a little drop of foundation, and you're gonna need this, especially if you want a seamless blend. I usually go in with a little bit of foundation just to make everything just come together seamlessly. We'll see in the end. Anywho, let's get into it. So usually once I have my base down, I go straight into contouring or bronzing. For bronzing today, even though I tell you guys the products don't really matter, I'm going to still talk about them. I'm going to be using my Laguna bronzer from NARS. Now, on the left side of my face, I'm going to place the product. On the right side of my face, I'm going to do my makeup the way that I usually do it. Usually, what I do is, I follow my ear. I'm just going to place it right about here. Now, me personally, I like to put my product on my brush and blend it out, because I feel like that's better for me. But because I'm trying to show you guys where I place my product, so as you can see, I didn't go further out. I don't know if you guys can see that with the product, because the further out you go, you're gonna elongate your face, and I'm trying to lift. I try not to place anything here. Whatever's left on the brush I put there, and I put a little bit right here on my forehead. Again, this side I'm placing product, the opposite side I'm going to blend. And right here, that's it. We're gonna worry about my nose contour in another video. Okay? You got too much chip on your dip. But you got too much dip on your chip. Okay? So if I am placing with the brush, sometimes I take the brush and just blend this out a little bit so that it makes it easier for me to blend it. I'm gonna just let that sit real quick and I'm gonna show you guys how I really do it. So usually I would dip into the product and either on the back of my hand, but today on my palette, I would just blend it into my brush really well. And I'm going to place my product and blend it out. Now for me, it's easier for me to do it this way because you can blend it a lot easier. Because when you just put it like this, you kind of got to fight a little bit more to get the product blended out. Whereas if you put it on your brush, blend it into the brush and then blend it out, it'll blend out seamlessly and easier. Anytime you're blending out your bronzer or contour, please blend upward towards the center of your face because you don't want to get anything underneath this area. I'm just gonna go ahead and blend this out, and you guys are gonna see the difference here with me and blending out this product. Because baby, I'm about to put a little bit of work in. Hold on. And I'm gonna do the same with my forehead. Pick up a little bit of the product on the brush, blend it into my palette. And literally there's nothing on the palette. It's all in the brush. And I'm just gonna do my forehead area. Now, usually I would already have my highlighter shade under my eyes sitting so that I could go ahead and blend that out after I blend this out because I like my concealer to sit. However, today's video I'm not going to do it that way because I want you guys to get the concept down, and then under the chin I kind of keep it in this area. And as you guys can see, when I did under my cheeks and in my forehead I did tapping motions, but here I'm doing like a rubbing motion because I'm trying to buff this completely out so that you don't really see it. So you're creating the dimension underneath, you're going to set everything and then create the dimension again. So you can keep adding on until you're comfortable if you want. I'm going to. However, once it gets a little too far, just know there's no going back. Again, I didn't put anything here, just whatever was on the brush, I kind of just brung it into my temples, but technically ain't much space here, so I don't really have to put much. I'm gonna show you on this side what I would do if I didn't feel safe just placing the product. If you don't feel comfortable, again, palette and your brush. So what I would do is I just put a little bit of the concealer. I would pick it up on the brush and literally, as if I'm blending the concealer on my face, I would tap it into the brush. In the area that I'm highlighting, which is this side, I will look up. And I wouldn't put it directly under the eye yet. I will kind of place it underneath. And then whatever's left on the brush, I will blend into the under eyes. Don't worry if anything blends down too low, because that's where the foundation comes in your other brushes. That's how you blend everything together. So I'm just gonna bring that into the nose. And you see how that just places so flawlessly. Now, if you feel like you got too much product on the brush, piece of tissue. Just literally rub the brush into a piece of tissue. It'll take everything off. Blend the edges out. Don't worry, because it is blended a little up, but don't worry. I'm gonna blend out the forehead area, because if this stays too long, I can't blend it. Because the product is already there and you want to keep most of the coverage under your eyes, you're going to blend this way. Now, the concealer you use under your eyes is always 2 to 3 shades lighter. I wouldn't go any lighter. With the concealer, I kind of didn't touch whatever's in here yet. I blended out everything else out towards this outside of my face, and I kept the highlighted concealer in the center because, again, that's where all my coverage is. While blending that now you could go ahead and go into the under eye area and try to keep that focused right here. Because if it's focused right here in the center of your face, you'll keep that coverage that you need that's under this eye. Now for your bronzer shade, you would do the same. You would do 2 to 3 shades darker than your skin. Don't go any darker because then it'll start to look muddy and you don't want it to look muddy. Now I would always try to use my favorite foundation that matches me the best in the store, or bring it with me and try to help get someone to help match you, or whatever the case may be. Because if, again, you go too light or too dark, everything will not be cohesive. I try to stay in that range. Again, do what you do. It's your makeup, it's your life. Do what you do. I know people like to go 4 or 5 shades lighter on their under eyes and 2, 4 or 5 shades darker to bronze. Me personally, and me as a makeup artist, that's just not my jam. I guess I'm old school. 2 to 3 shades under the eye, 2 to 3 shades darker in the perimeter, and your foundation shade on your face. Now I'm a million different shades, that's why I may look a million different shades, so don't judge. For looking at me on the camera, you can tell that I blended a little bit too low on this side. This side looks perfect. So what I'm gonna do is pick up my brush. There is foundation here. I'm gonna pick up the tiniest amount of foundation on the brush, like that much. I'm gonna blend it into the palette so that I can get it fully into the bristles. And I'm just gonna blend out the edges of that concealer. And don't worry about your bronzer. Okay, you can always go back in with more if you need to. And this will stop that stark white difference between your bronzer and your concealer. It'll kind of like mesh the two, because again, your concealer is 2 shades lighter, your bronzer is 2 shades darker, and then your foundation is your color. So that's that little in between, like if you're painting, that brings the two together. My favorite thing to do, I will go back in with the brush that I use for my bronzer. If there's nothing on the brush, you could always just give it one little tap. Go in that palette and blend it all in. I'm gonna do this side. In a light hand, I'm literally just flicking my wrist. And I'm just bringing back some color, babe. I'm just gonna pick up my concealer brush and I'm just going to blend everything together. So that nose contour that looks a little nuts, that under eye that needs to be blended out. And I just go a little bit light-handedly towards the outside of the blush so that it doesn't look crazy. When you go back and forth between the brushes, you're kind of marrying everything together, so you can't tell where one begins and one ends, and that's the beauty of makeup. If people like to have that stark whatever, again, that's on you. But we blend everything together over here. I'm gonna move into setting. And yes, I use 2 different setting powders because that is what helps me give me a little bit of a brighter under eye compared to the rest of my face, even though my highlight is already doing what it do. You feel me? So the first thing I use is my One Size powder in Sweet Honey. I love this to set under the eyes. Just gonna get up under these under eyes real quick. I'm not going to go ham with the sponge because I don't want to lose whatever product I put up under here, because I need it. And I'm gonna pick up that One Size powder. I'm gonna tap off the excess and I'm gonna press this into wherever I put concealer. I can sleep on that One Size all you want, but look at her. Patrick Hill. Okay, but the girls need it. I'm gonna pick up my Laura Mercier powder, but this is the new translucent one. I picked up too much. The Ultra Blur. Laura knew what she was doing with this one. Picking up my powder puff, getting her on my finger. That's how I usually hold her. And we just gonna keep her right under the eyes. Okay, so some people may disagree with me on this part, but I am here to help you. That's all I'm here to do. If you don't agree, this is my MAC powder. This is my Mineralize Skin Finish, and this is in dark tan. They have another foundation powder if you want more coverage. I don't usually go for more coverage because I don't really like heavy coverage. I like medium twofold. I'm a medium girly. But if you like foundation powder, do your thing. But this is where I would apply it. So anywhere where you did not apply any powder is where you're going to apply your powder. Now I usually use a nice big powder puff because you're distributing just a light wash of powder. I'm not packing on a bunch of powder because you don't need all of that. Okay, even in my forehead area. Also, when you are going in with bronzer and blush and everything else on such a wet base, it clings to the base, right? So if you're putting on bronzer and you're trying to if you put it on bronzer on a wet base, such as your foundation, right? And you're trying to blend it out, it's gonna cling to it instead of blending it out. So now you have a whole bunch of bronzer on instead of you being able to just blend it in because everything is already set with powder, right? Now I'm gonna go ahead and just finish off my eyes. It's nothing crazy. I'm just gonna put some lashes on and some mascara under the bottom. I'm gonna set my brows and I'll be right back. And then I will go back in with my MAC powder. If you are new here, this is my favorite thing to do because I'm not leaving this under my eyes. I'm gonna go in with a tapered brush with some powder on it, and I'm going to blend out that setting powder from under my eyes. Now usually I will go in with my bronzer, my blush, and then do it because then it will blend everything together. But I'm gonna just do it this way today so that you guys can see. And I also feel like I've been letting this powder some moment up. Now, my favorite thing to do in this moment, because I have a bunch of powder on, is spraying my face with a setting spray. I'm just gonna use the Makeup Revolution Superfix Superhold Misting Spray or my Morphe spray, but I don't have any, so that's why I'm using this. Dry, because if it's not fully dry, it's gonna be the same thing that I was just telling y'all with the bronzer and the blush clinging to your face with wet foundation. So make sure everything's dry. Thank you. So let me explain this part, being that I forgot to explain that part. I did not contour. Now contour is usually with my palette. Contour is usually a grayer shade. That is usually what I use. Something a little bit darker to contour, right? Whereas your bronzer, just get this on the palette. Your bronzer, which is up here, is warmer. So this has more of a red undertone. This is a little bit grayer, so it will most likely have a blue undertone. Now your contour is to basically create some form of dimension. It's supposed to create a shadow. So when you're creating the shadow with your contour, you want to put that on first and blend that out, and then put your bronzer on, because your bronzer is going to bring that warmth back to your skin. So that's usually what I would say. Now where I placed my bronzer on this side is where I would place my contour, and I would keep it in that area. I would not blend it any further. I would literally keep it right by my cheek and right here on my forehead, and I would not blend it crazy all around like I did my bronzer. I would keep it in that area because, again, you're just creating a shadow. You are not here to create anything else with your contour. Sorry I wasn't able to show you guys that. That's not how I usually do my face, and I'm not going to do it like that today. So you would keep that shadow in that area, and then once that's fully blended out, you will go over with your bronzer and blend that the way that I blend my bronzer out. And then you will continue with your highlighting and your blush and everything else. Now, back to what I was saying. Now, usually with powdered bronzer for me, I tend to use these kind of brushes because I feel like it's the best for me. Some people like to use this because they feel like it does the job, but I feel like this is a better blush brush for me, and this kind of brush is a better brush for bronzer. I had this brush for so long. Don't judge me, y'all. Okay, so this is my Fenty bronzer in Mocha Mami. It takes a while to come up on the brush, so okay. And I tend to hold the brush at an angle and keep it in the hollow of my cheek so I know where I'm placing it, and then take the rest on the brush and lightly blend it out. Now, if I had foundation on and I was doing this, I would have to do it a different way because again the product would cling. I am freely doing it this way because there's no wet product to hold on to the brush. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or if you feel that I missed anything, I'm more than happy to help. Again, I've worked on all face shapes, sizes, everything of that nature, so I'm more than happy to help you with whatever questions you have in particular. I'm sorry I didn't show you guys any contouring, but this is how I do my face. I was just showing you guys how I bronze and highlight my face, and I did explain it the best way I possibly can. But if you guys need me to go deeper in that, I can. Let me know. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one.